Alright, so here we are with Season 2, Episode 6 of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Last episode, we've had a Scorpia-eccentric episode, though technically Episode 4 also involved Scorpia as well, but I certainly liked how they showed Scorpia in the last episode compared to Episode 4. Scorpia is now even more determined. Scorpia is now even more determined to make sure that Catra knows that if there's anybody who is by her side, it's going to be Scorpia. And it seems that even Catra is opening up just a little bit to Scorpia, so that is very nice, you know. It's good for Catra to at least have a friend know that there is somebody there who will be there for her, you know, and it's not Adora. But anyways, we'll just have to see what's going to happen in this episode. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access in the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. Is this, okay, this is, why is it, oh, Shadow Weaver. For some reason, I'm remembering... Oh, is this before she became, like, fully Shadow Weaver? Or is this... Micah. Light Spinner. Dark Weaver? Light Spinner. Mysticor. There you go. Oh, Micah is the... What's the king? Master Norwyn. Oh. Starting at the beginning. So she's counting the day. Okay, and then we still don't see her face, but we do see her eyes without, you know, the mask on it. And like one of the things that Shadow Weaver does happens is like when her mask is broken, or like when she takes her mask off and you see like a disfigured face. I assume that's like that came from her dark magic experiment and all that. Oh, here he is getting fitted like a fucking automobile. What is that? A loose screw? Doesn't even want to get rid of Shadow Weaver. To Beast Island. She doesn't want to get rid of... I mean, that is... Oh. If she goes somewhere else. She's going to the basics. Uh-oh. Oh, there's Entrapta. Kind of look like a little bit like Shadow Weaver. Oh, so that means that the prison is going to get open. Oh, her stuff is higher than you now. Meanwhile, Entrapta. Banish her to Beast Island. His word is law.
No, Lord Horde, I understand.
You know that feeling when, like, your boss that you hate finally left, and then you got a new boss and you think it's gonna be good? And then you find out that the next boss is worse? What the fuck? She can't even reach for her food. Oh no, she's probably doing a little bit of magic. What? You guys didn't see that? So they're just crushing up stones? So they're just like stealing the little things? I don't even... Wow! Oh, he did it. Boys I mean, she did say one of the best student. Oh. He just has a bit better of an innate ability. Hmm.
You have incredible power, and I'm the one who will mold that power.
Oh, same feeling that she does to Adora.
Sorcerer's Guild meets tomorrow to decide a course of action. I have a plan to give us the power needed to stop.
But it's not what the guild wants.
Norwyn and his followers can see the threat as clearly as you do. If anyone can do it, it's you.
And then here you are by the Horde. Holy shit, it's at the 3 moons. It's ready to align.
You always come out here when you're upset.
Oh.
Everywhere else. Troubling my bestie. I'm not your bestie, and I'm fine. Oh, I don't accept any of that. Yeah, we'll get used to not getting what you want in life.
I think she's a little used to that.
Wait, Beast Island is...
That's what she asked.
Okay, let me just fix that. Catra, can I get a hand? Catra? Beast Island is
Just smash.
sent there is supposed to be a fate worse than death. I bet there's some really nice stuff too. Maybe Shadow Weaver will write and tell us about it.
Who will send that?
People don't send letters from
Yeah, who?
They go and they never come back. It doesn't matter how hard I work. Shadow Weaver is useful and she can help us. Seriously? Because she hasn't exactly given us any information. I really want to keep her around.
Oh, asking the real question. She does, but it's complicated. It's complicated. All right, her Facebook status with Shadow Weaver it's complicated. Oh, that's when it's aligned. Territory. Yeah, the princesses sucks. The Black Garnet. So that's when Scorpia's family gave it over. Spell of obtainment. Yeah. Parasite. So that's what she is.
But I've modified the spell. Tonight, the 3 moons of enchantment come into alignment.
3 moons of enchantment.
Stronger.
Oh.
The good will do. There can be no good from
Yeah, we can't stoop low to like the villains.
Ethereal will take care of itself as it has always done.
Who are you, Perfuma?
If we don't fight, if we don't become stronger, we won't have a planet to protect. Be satisfied with what you have, Light Spinner.
But
Some power.
it's not meant for you.
They refuse to lend me their strength to do what must be done. They
Did-
never listen to me.
Oh, that's the same thing Adora. It's like Catra says. Right there. Wow.
Your bags. You're going to Beast Island. Oh, that's right. You don't have it. When? Don't you care? It's a death sentence. What don't you?
I mean, better than this prison, right?
Don't you have anything to say?
No.
Give me something. I've given everything I have. Take pity on an old, powerless woman. I know my days here are numbered. I want to see my old Sorcerer's Guild badge one last time. You don't get to ask things of me anymore.
But are you still out going to do it anyways?
You must stay focused.
Oh, so she's just...
Once we begin casting, we cannot stop.
Oh, he's got Micah to do this.
We need
This is power.
It's the only way to
Oh, that's the crystal thing that they... So something went wrong, and she got hit?
Light Spinner, what's happening? What is that? Hold it steady. Do not
Uh-oh. Just a bunch of dark hands, dude. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh, and then he just runs away. Oh, that's the eyes that she has, I think. That boy ran away and then just runs right back.
Saw what it was doing to the room. To us. You've always hungered up
For power.
Bringing you into our ranks was a grave mistake.
Uh-oh.
The only mistake was seeking the approval of a fool like you.
Oh. Oh my god. She just fucking sucked him up? Like, what?
Life bitter. Please don't.
And she goes instead of taking Micah. She just sucked those people up. Like, did they die? Like, my god. Oh, and this is when she comes to the Horde. Oh, the moon. The 3 moons have aligned. Just the fucking drop. That too.
What do you want from me, Catra?
Why?
Why do you never love me? Why?
Why was I never good?
Oh.
Because you remind me of myself.
Oh.
You always have. Nothing was ever easy for me either. I had to earn my power, fight for it.
Why would it be any different? Wow.
As a child, when you took me in, what could I have possibly done to deserve the way you treated me? I am nothing like you. You are old and bitter and weak.
But you are like me.
And just like me, you're losing your position with Horde. I can see that even from myself.
Damn.
I am not just entrapped to understand all that tech stuff.
And what about you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
She's earned his trust. I want you to go further than I did. But you need to be smarter than me, stronger than me.
Then help me. Come up with something so you can stay.
I will try. But I'm tired now. Come back later, please.
Oh. Oh. Oh, she did give it to her. Look at that. Baby! The fuck?
I arrived too late. I found something, but it's useless. Put it with the other orphans in the infirmary.
Put it with the other orphans. Ah, we're just taking kids out here, dude.
This one is different. Can't you feel it? She has power. Fine, take it. Just get it out of here.
I just fucking hold her. Oh, look at baby Adora.
Oh, don't worry, little one. We're going to do great things together. It's time.
Oh. Time to GTFO, huh? Oh, the dust. Wow, interesting.
Okay. I know it hasn't been that long, but I figured we could brainstorm together. Such as ours. You were just using me all along.
Well, I mean, yeah, understandable. Damn, dude. Fucking Oh, here's Adora.
Better. Okay, now Glimmer, move yours more to the right.
Why are we on the roof?
Trying to find that.
Thought my tracker pad had broken back.
Yeah, he's looking at that.
Studying it, and I realized the garbled static I keep getting on my screen isn't a bug. It's picking up some kind of transmission.
Yeah, from that place that we saw in episode 5.
Adora, higher and more.
Out-ish. Adora is just out here, dude. Doing the best. Ah!
Serenia?
I don't know. It has to do with Mara.
It's Serenia? Somebody else? Serenia Portal Mara. So Portal something. Somebody came Outworld. Shed a little tear for Catra right there, dude. Like, in the end, all Catra really wanted was, you know, to be loved like everybody else. And it's just like, and you know, like they just go through the whole entire thing. Like, she's the person who just keeps going back to Shadow Weaver, despite despite not exactly needing her, like, you know, not needing her, but in the end, inside Catra, right, she still feels like she needs Shadow Weaver. She wants, or at least she needs Shadow Weaver to acknowledge her and love her and everything. And in the end, you know, as what she came to the conclusion, Shadow Weaver was just fucking using her. Rip, dude. But alright, I'm gonna go write my notes and we will be right back to the center. I love this part where, like, this girl is not even doing a perfect circle, and then Light Spinner fixes it for her, and it just reminds me of, like, the fucking Disney, the old Disney, what are those cards again? You know, where they're like doing the fucking Disney logo, except like they're not doing it perfect at all. I feel that, dude. Oh, I just realized that's the they overlay her eyes with like the eyes that she will eventually get from the spell. Interesting. Well, it's always done. Okay, so like this whole conversation between Light Spinner and I presume that guy is Norwyn, who again I think Light Spinner turned Shadow Weaver, just fucking sucked him up into the darkness. You know what? He fucking deserved it. Fuck him. I made that mention where, like, who are you, fucking Perfuma, right? Like, back in those days, like, yeah, that's, I mean, if we're thinking about episode 4, that is technically, like, 2-3 months ago for me. But, like, when they first met Perfuma and, like, her people and all that, you know, they're just all be like, let's just leave it up to fate, you know? It's just, things will just work out on its own and all that, and this is literally them, like, the guild. And it's like they're both basically on like the extremist level, where Light Spinner wants to do something forbidden by the guild, and as she mentions to Norwyn, right, she wants to cast a spell of attainment. It leeches power and turns the caster into a magical parasite, but Light Spinner has modified the spell. And so I guess the modified the spell part is, I don't know. I don't know if like she modified, and if Micah had actually gone through the whole thing, it would have been fine according to Light Spinner, but it didn't because Micah ran away. But anyways, okay, what else trying to talk about here, right? They're both on the extremist side, where again Light Spinner wants to do this thing that perhaps might end up stooping down to the level of the Horde. You know, you want to, if you're like on the hero's side, you don't want to just turn into the villain yourself in order to defeat the other person. And it's like, it's understandable. But then we've got Norwyn, who's just like, oh, the princesses will deal with this. And I'm just like, I don't know, the fucking princesses just got one of their runes taken, so like, what do you want? Like, fucking Shadow Weaver, Light Spinner, shows you guys, like, what the fuck the Horde is doing this whole time. And she's just like, yo, the princesses need fucking help. They can't do this by themselves. And Norman's just like, nah, it'll fucking balance itself out eventually. Like, bitch. Alright? Like, it's literally just kind of like, obviously, Light Spinner, as what Norman says, right? You're greedy for power. You're always striving for power. And, you know, perhaps that is true, right? But the thing that Light Spinner does here, it's kind of like it has good intentions, but a bad execution. And if these two were able to, you know, actually bring each other's ideals to, like, the middle, where they're able to talk with each other and, like, again, come to the middle and figure out a plan from there, you know? Like, alright, maybe we're a little bit too extremist on both sides, let's try to figure this fucking thing out. How can we help the princess without having to resort to, this fucking magic, right? The spell of attainment. But no, he doesn't. He just fucking denies her outright and just told her to just fucking chill, you know? Take a fucking chill pill. We'll be alright. Okay. The way that Shadow Weaver says this, right? The only mistake was seeking the approval of a fool like you. Perhaps that also is similar to Catra, right? In the way that she feels about Adora and Shadow Weaver. That's the symbol. Is that the symbol of the spell of obtainment? Because, like, if she's planning on doing that same thing again. Okay, I have to go look at the when she shows the spell of obtainment, and I have to remember this pattern. Alright. No, it's a different one. Okay, but it does have 4 diamonds, but it's probably a different one. I mean, if she needed 2 people to cast it, I don't know if she'd be able to cast it by herself and in a weakened state and everything. Huh, is that the... This is like the moon cycle, it looks like. Right, I assume that's like the moon cycle. Maybe it's like a teleportation spell and she just vanished off somewhere. They were talking about, like, in the beginning, right? They were talking about, with Entrapta, about how, like, they're putting new stuff in and so the power keeps going out. And so I wonder if, like, I was wondering if that was going to have something to do with the way that Shadow Weaver left. But it didn't look like that. She just she just got her badge, which she had stored with, like, these magical stuff that she had gotten from, like, those diamond things at Mysticor, and, like, they grinded it up. She kept some for herself, and so that's how she's able to cast his magic. It's specifically when the 3 moons of enchantments are aligned with one another, so she can actually escape. So I suppose, you know, Shadow Weaver is on the run, and the last thing that she was flashbacking about was Adora, and so she's just like, it's time, so I guess, I don't know, is she going after Adora or something? I don't know. Alright, so that was Season 2, Episode 6 of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty great episode. I really enjoyed this backstory that they gave on Shadow Weaver, or Light Spinner, before she became Shadow Weaver, and kind of showed us why she has those eyes, and, you know, perhaps why she doesn't like to show her face, right? She's got her mask on, although the mask was also like a conduit for the Black Garnet runestones and all that. But interestingly, we see that Light Spinner was training Micah, and Micah was, I can't remember if we've seen Micah before in terms of, like, actually see him talking and all that, instead of, like, that picture, that mural or something that they have in the Bright Moon place. But I think this is the first time we've seen Micah, even if it's like a younger Micah, because, you know, he's already freaking dead and everything. But we see that he's pretty much in agreement with Light Spinner this whole time, right? Light Spinner shows him what the Horde is doing. They're out here taking, taking lands, and the princesses, they're not really doing all that much. And Micah, seeing this, he's just like, oh my god, you're right, we should help them, right? We have the power, and you're working on this spell and all that. We definitely should do it. And Light Spinner had some hopes that maybe with this modified spell that she has, that the guild, you know, the guild would actually allow her to do this stuff and they can help defeat the Horde. I've kind of already mentioned this part during the note-taking about the differences between Light Spinner and Norwyn, so nothing too much to say about that, but, you know, this meeting didn't go well. Light Spinner is upset. Understandable, and we've got Micah who is encouraging her, right? He's just like, you shouldn't let them do this to you. Somewhere around there. Hold on, let me look at this. Okay, so here in this part, Light Spinner says Norwyn and the others, they don't actually really care about the magic, they just want to hold the rest of us back. And it was Micah who's just like, then go back and make them understand, right? If you don't do this, then Etheria is going to get destroyed by the Horde. Like, he's able to understand the threat, and that, like, the princesses may not be able to do this on their own, right? That maybe you should do a little bit of support, especially if it's like your entire planet that is in danger, but, you know, it's not our war, technically, right? We're just gonna stay out of it. So this gets Light Spinner to think about, I think she had thought about this before with Micah, where she's just like, maybe you could help me. You know what? No, you're too fresh to this. You're too young up to this. But she is now desperate because of the guild rejecting her idea. So she's just like, you know what? If you want to help Etheria, there is another way. There is another way. I guess instead of like getting the guild's approval, for her it's probably just doing it herself. So here where she tells Micah to don't stop, right? Whatever you do, don't stop with this spell. And Micah, being the young kid that he is, sees this fucking scary shit that is happening. I mean, like, you've just got a blob with hands just pushing out onto this, you know? Like, WTF is this? And of course, as a kid, getting just hands swarmed around you and all that, fuck that, right? Micah runs off, which I thought was very funny. He runs off, and then he sees it happens to, he sees the spell overwhelms Light Spinner, and then he runs back, and I'm just like, what do you expect to do? Alright, you left her, alright, Micah? But this ends up turning Light Spinner to Shadow Weaver, the person that we know now. And this whole thing, it kind of makes me think about Micah, because Micah was one of the first casualties in the Princesses Alliance, like the first time that they did the Princesses Alliance, which I'm also trying to, hold on. Before I make a misunderstanding and like I'm thinking that Micah is somebody completely different, let me actually go look at my season 1 notes. King Micah, there you go. Yeah, he formed the rebellion and he was the first casualty. So it makes me wonder if this whole influence from Light Spinner is, you know, one of the reasons why he's so adamant on starting the rebellion, because he sees that, yeah, the Horde is out here coming to fucking take us, and they're going to destroy Etheria if they continue, but he also sees Light Spinner in the way that she ended up going, so, you know, he just wants to do it. But also, I would assume that's why he got out of Mysticor. Right, he left Mysticor, he ended up marrying Angela in Bright Moon, became the king there, and he started getting the help of the princesses. Well, you know, maybe this is just his, you know, it's his sense of justice, but also, like, this is also has been influenced by Light Spinner as well. Maybe he thinks about the way that Light Spinner was. I do wonder if, like, he ended up seeing Shadow Weaver in the battlefield as well, and he recognized that it's his old teacher. Who knows? We still don't specifically know how King Micah died, but he was one of the first casualties. Moving away from the Light Spinner flashback, we've got Catra, who is being told by Hordak that he wants Shadow Weaver banished to the Beast Island. And according to Catra, anybody who goes on Beast Island never goes back. What is on Beast Island? I mean, I would assume it's an island full of beasts, and you're not going to survive unless, you know, you somehow turn yourself into the top fucking predator, you know, top of the food chain in that island. But, as Catra says, nobody ever comes out of Beast Island, and Catra doesn't want this, right? She wants Shadow Weaver by her side, but she doesn't want her to actually die or even suffer a fate worse than death. And she's just trying her best to get Hordak to listen to her, but Hordak is just, he's been unimpressed since like episode 1 of this season, you know? Like, oh, you did all this good shit in the last season, you almost, you were laying siege to the Bright Moon capital, right where they could have just wiped out Angela, the fucking queen. They could have wiped out Glimmer, right? Could have wiped out all the princesses essentially there. Well, I mean, the princesses weren't supposed to be there, but, you know, they could have wiped out the two most prominent figure in the Bright Moon Rebellion, and like that would have just fucking destroyed the rebellion essentially. Catra failed the siege, and they were still recovering from the whole thing, and she still managed to fail that because the Whispering Woods ended up recovering because of the power of the rainbow again. And then the failure of episode 2 where she got caught, and, you know, Hordak doesn't appreciate that. Like, you're a little fucking weak. Why you out here getting caught, huh? Perhaps even, like, episode 4, even though it's technically not Catra's fault, but then at the same time, Catra did put Scorpia as the leader, and so, like, that would still be her responsibility, technically, since she chose Scorpia, although they all decided to blame Kyle by the end of it. You know what? I feel like Kyle... You know, no, I still stand by in terms of, like, fucking Kyle just gets absolutely fucking bullied on. He's the person that everybody fucking punches down on because, like, he doesn't talk back. And this whole place is so fucking suffocating and, like, militaristic sometimes, you know? And you have to obey other people by rank. So, you know, I just shit on Kyle. Alright, why am I talking about Kyle? But yeah, all these failures that's been accumulating this season, Hordak's not very happy, and it doesn't help that we've got Entrapta, you know, just who has crashed into Hordax's place and has showed him that she knows more tech stuff, and which means that she is so much more useful, she is so much more useful than Catra is. And again, I do wonder if eventually Catra will be like, alright, Entrapta is doing way too much work in here, you know, I need her out of the fucking picture, and so she's just like, you know, Entrapta, just fucking go back to the princesses or something, you know? Get out of here. I don't want you anymore. Who knows? Who knows? Ordered by Hordak, Catra now has 2 days to extract whatever information she has out of, out of Shadow Weaver, or else she will be banished to Beast Island. In the next scene, we see Scorpia coming out, trying to, you know, be there to, basically, she wants to be the shoulder that Catra could cry on, but Catra doesn't exactly need a shoulder to cry. Well, not that she doesn't want it. She definitely needs it, but she doesn't want it right now. And also, you know, Scorpia's shoulders is kind of bumpy. I will say, when it comes to Scorpia talking about how, like, she's Catra's bestie and all that, and it's like understandable, you want to be friends with her and all that, but like there's a weird difference between someone who has like a different level of like friendship compared to the other, right? Because like Scorpia sees Catra and she's just like, all right, we're best friends, you know, we're besties now. And Catra is just not that person who immediately sees someone. It's just like, we're friends, right? Two different people with two different ways of making friends. And it's that weird feeling, because like I'm more like on Catra's side, where I'm just like, we're not friends, you know, like, stop it. And like Scorpia goes up and she's like, we're besties after all, and she's like, no, dog, chill, right? Chill the fuck out. That is the one thing that I'm just kind of like, okay, you know, Scorpia, maybe you shouldn't just continuously call her a bestie, but you know, maybe it's that method of like, if I keep saying it enough, Catra will eventually believe me. But we do see the difference in thoughts between Scorpia and Catra, where Catra explains to Scorpia that that Hordak wants Shadow Weaver to be banished to the Beast Island, and the first thing that Scorpia asks is, Beast Island is real? But then she's just like, oh, you know, maybe Shadow Weaver be fine, she can send us letters and all that, and that gets Catra to freak out. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about sending letters? Nobody fucking comes out of that island. Alright? And then Scorpia says something that stings Catra, right? It's a fate worse than death. And it's just like, oh shit. I don't want that for her. I do love this part where Scorpia is like walking towards Catra and you can just see the railings right here just starts shaking, because that's just, she takes heavy steps, you know, just fucking out here wiggling. So good, dude. So good. Yeah, it's a fate worse than death, and then Catra just scowls at her. And then this is like, Shadow Weaver will write with us, and then that's when Catra asks, what's wrong with you? Well, you know, Scorpia's just trying to be a little optimistic, you know? He never listens to me, Shadow Weaver is useful and she can help us. I did mention in how, like, when she complains about this, right? It sounds the same as, like, in the next flashback with Lightspitter after she gets out of the guild. It feels like similar things that they say. And it continues to go into what Shadow Weaver says to Catra, right? That, you remind me of myself. And here we got Scorpia asking the real question, you know? She hasn't given us any information. Why do you really want to keep her around? She's never been very nice to you. I kind of thought you hated her. And Catra, again, it's a complicated feeling, right? It's really hard to get out of that feeling of like, even though they treated you like shit and you feel like they've never really actually loved you, there's that sense of family. And Catra did say that that Shadow Weaver's the person who took her in. Although, I can't remember if Shadow Weaver said it back in episode 11, where she's just like, I only took you in because of Adora. I can't remember, or that's just somebody in the comments again, just... But Catra was also an orphan, and Shadow Weaver took her in. And it's like, and in that feeling, right, it feels like you have taken up as the mother figure. And I would presume this also goes back to Adora as well, where Adora is the favorite child. And so she would see Shadow Weaver treat Adora like how Catra wants her to treat her as, if that sentence makes sense. You know, she wanted She wanted that motherly love, even if it was suffocating and toxic. She wanted that motherly love from Shadow Weaver. And especially with Adora gone, who else is here to give her that family love that she so desperately wants? Scorpia? Psh, just trying to be her best friend, the fuck? I enjoyed this part where Catra comes in. It's just like, alright, pack your bags, you're gonna be silent, you know, hoping that maybe Shadow Weaver be like, oh no, I don't want to go to Peace Island, I'll tell you what you want so you can keep me here. You know? And so she kind of just does that, like, cynical little response, like, oh, you don't have anything, Lamau. And so she just asks when, right? And then that's when she puts down that act that she has, right? Like, don't you care? You're about to fucking die. This is basically a death sentence. Well, you need to give me some sort of fucking information so I can go tell Horde to keep you here. Come on now, Shadow Weaver, work with me. Very funny that when Shadow Weaver said, like, I gave everything to the Horde, and Catra responds back with, you were really useless, you're getting what you deserve. She's about to leave, and fucking Shadow Weaver just says, take pity on me, won't you? Which you shouldn't, but in the end, Catra took pity on her anyways, right? She's like, I know my days are numbered, I'm going to die, so like, can you just give me my guild badge? I want to see it, at least one last time. And of course, Catra makes it look like she doesn't care, but in the reality is, she does care. She's very much that rebellious teenager who's just like, yeah, fuck you, Mom. I don't give a shit about you. Don't tell me what to do. And then they go and do what their mom tells them to do. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There's this one part where like he takes Micah out, and then Micah's like, you know, please don't, Light Spinner. But then Light Spinner kind of just caresses his cheek. It's the same thing that she does to she does to Catra. A weird, like, her eyes softens up just a little bit. I mean, as it softens as much as a demonic eye can. You know, her eyes are, it's like a, okay. I didn't realize her eyes were like that. I thought it was a little bit more like demon eyes, but no, it's a little bit more like a rune symbol. But yeah, she just caresses him on the cheek and then just fucking leaves instead, right? She's not gonna wipe Micah out. Perhaps there was a little feeling of love inside Light Spinner, and that's why she stopped from just sucking Micah up like she did Norwyn. Again, like, is that guy dead? And if so, good. And on that day, Micah was traumatized. So here we are again with Catra coming in to give Shadow Weaver some food, and even here Shadow Weaver makes mention that, why is it that you are the one giving me food when you could have gotten anybody else to do it? I mean, they could literally get Kyle to do it, although I feel like if Kyle came in, he'd probably just do some shit that'll just set Shadow Weaver free. But they could have gotten Kyle to do it at the very least, you know, he's the fucking errand boy. He does just about any other fucking chore that nobody else wants to do. But Catra specifically goes to Shadow Weaver, even if she's there to just laugh at her and make fun of her. And even in like episode 1, right, when Catra was feeling bad, well, who did she go to? Shadow Weaver, just so she can go talk shit on her and be like, alright, I feel better now. And anytime that she feels upset, she goes to Shadow Weaver because she still, unfortunately, sees her as a mother figure. And with the continuous display of how Catra is similar to Shadow Weaver, in the part where Adora was captured and Shadow Weaver was ready to just wipe her memory out and just like, you're gonna be my puppet now, right? You're gonna be in total control. I'm gonna be in total control. And you know, Catra sees that, even though she didn't want that, she still technically does the exact same thing with what Shadow Weaver wanted for Adora, right? In episode 5, when they've put the virus in her sword and got her to act all funky and all that, right? And she was so happy that, oh man, Adora's in my control now. So it's the same feeling as Shadow Weaver, and it's the same thing that she's doing to Shadow Weaver here, right? Where she has her locked up in a cage, and she can just go and visit her anytime she wants. But if she doesn't want to see her anymore, she can just leave the prison and Shadow Weaver can't go after her. It's it's just a nice slow experience that you get to go in, and then it doesn't follow you anymore. And so, you know, it's perhaps that's what Catra sees as love, you know, in the fact that this is just how this is how Shadow Weaver do it, and this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking keep you trapped in a cage so you can't run away and you can't abandon me. Have I mentioned this before? Because Catra certainly has abandonment issues, and honestly, understandable. And when you have abandonment issues, you would do some crazy shit, alright? You would do some crazy shit. Like here, right? Where she's fucking keeping Shadow Weaver locked up, and she would definitely keep Adora locked up too. Anyways, Catra finally asked the question that she been wanting to ask Shadow Weaver for a long time. And, you know, it's the same question that Scorpia goes and asks Catra. So I assume with that in her head, she goes and she says, why did you treat me the way that the way that you did? Was I never good enough? And Shadow Weaver says, well, I see myself in you. I know that you weren't born with power like Adora or others. I would assume she's also mentioning like Micah, because the thing with Micah and Adora is that it seems like she does care about them, but then she also cares about like the power that they can have. And so it's kind of like the thing that she failed with Micah, she was trying to do it with Adora instead. Because you remind me of myself, you always have, nothing was ever easy for me. Yeah, okay. I had to earn my power, fight for it. Why should it be any different for you? And like, that's such a shitty thing, you know? It's just like, I had to suffer as a kid. I had to suffer through my life. And you remind me of myself. I know that you're going to have to earn your power. You're going to have to fight for it. So why should I make it easier for you? And it's such a shitty fucking thing to think about. It's a really bad mentality that I don't appreciate. And it's something that really happens in, even in like, you know, the jobs and like, you know, the workplace and all that. Like somebody might have like a bad day at work and like, you know, they feel really bad about like the 9 to 5 work hour, which is fucking awful. You know, why would you want to work 9 to 5? But like, if you complain about that, you'll have people on the internet who just be like, oh, stop whining about this shit. I work 14 hours a day without any break and I don't fucking complain on the internet. You know, like those type of people. It's just like, it's that mentality of like, I'm suffering, so you need to suffer as well. And as parents, right, don't you think that one of the things that you want to do is to be able to give a better life to your kids, right? That's hopefully a lot of parents would want that. Like they might come from a poor country and they come to America and hoping to build a new life and hopefully that their kids are going to live a better life than they ever did. But there are unfortunately people like Shadow Weaver who are just, no, I had to suffer, and like, that's character growth, you know? So like, why should it be any different? Why should I make it fucking easy for you, huh? You weren't born with power. It's a little integrated into the system now that you think about it. But this also kind of goes with like an argument of like people who were abused as a kid and then they grow up and they're just like, oh, I was hit as a child, you know, I used to get my ass kicked by my parents as a child and I grew up fine. Why are you fucking complaining about your parents hitting you, huh? Like it, you know, oh, your parents talking shit, they're emotionally abusive towards you, you know, like, it's just like, well, I grew up with that and I was fine, so get over it. Like, suffering. If you're gonna suffer, if I'm going to suffer, you're going to suffer too, and it's a really bad mentality to be at, and man, this part really fucking hits, and just overall, this whole entire part really fucking hits, because in my notes, I wrote one pet, and Catra's defenses are down. And it just shows it's just so sad. Oh yeah, and also Catra did say like, I was a child when you took me in. What could I have possibly done to deserve the way you treated me? I'm nothing like me. Yeah. I'm nothing like you, even though you are, right? You are like me, and just like how you are in this position now, you're about to get tossed out, just like me. And then just in Shadow Weaver telling Catra to come here, and like Catra just leg first, just leg first, pushing herself in. And then she caresses Catra the same way that she caresses Micah, right? Where she puts her hand near her cheek and then just like caresses that one part of her hair, which is really weird. I don't understand why it's like that. But again, it's just so sad. One pet and Catra's defenses are just down immediately. I want you to go further than I did, but you need to be smarter than me. Which goes back to like, I treated you like shit so you can become stronger. Character development, Now we'll see how that holds up in court. Am I right, Shadow Weaver? Not that she's got, I don't know, is there a court in this, is there a court in this world, huh? I was also thinking about, episode 2 again, and how, like, Glimmer and Bo didn't want to, like, treat Catra badly, like she's taking it as a prisoner, but they don't want to stoop down to her level and all that. And it was kind of make me thinking about, like, I don't think there's a Geneva Convention in this world, right? If there isn't, just whatever, just fucking do whatever. Commit war crimes, but it's technically not war crimes if there's no laws about it yet, Stronger than me, then help me. God, this moment of weakness. Come up with something so you can stay. Like, you can feel that inner child of Catra just fucking peeking out in this moment. That love and affection, that caressing that she's been wanting from Shadow Weaver this whole time. And it was all used for manipulation. Oh, dude, when fucking Adora comes and sees Catra now, dude, Catra's gonna be extremely fucking pissed. Oh, man. Oh, there you go. The full cheek caress right there. And then she just leans into it. Just seeing the scene just gets tears in my eye ducts. Anyways, oh, look at this cute little blush, and like her ears are down and everything. Oh, so adorable. And then she hugs herself. Oh. Sag, dude. Sag. Anyways, like I said, Catra is a little rebellious teen. It's just like, you don't have any right to ask me, but then also does it anyways. But the next flashback we see was with Adora, which I thought was interesting, where Shadow Weaver asks, "How was your excursion?" And Hordax is like, we arrived too late. I only got this, but it's useless." And I love that he's just like, put it in with the other orphans in the infirmary. I'm just like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck? I mean, it's understandable. What we saw in the first season, right? They're all young kids being trained and being told that the princesses are just a bunch of villains and all that. But she sees Adora, she sees that there's power within her, and she's decided that she's going to raise her, and she's not going to make the same mistake as she did with Micah. But also, with this part also got me teary eyes too, because like you see baby Adora looking up at Shadow Weaver, just seeing a mask, but then decided, the baby was crying this whole time, and then she just sees Shadow Weaver, right? And then she just goes, my eyes, they're being attacked again. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, right. Same Shadow Weaver. So, after this is when we see Shadow Weaver deciding that, it's time now. The moons have aligned, and she's gonna escape. I wonder if this is like Shadow Weaver, she wants to go after Adora. Who knows, her affiliation isn't with the Horde anymore, and her affiliation isn't with Mysticor anymore, and especially if she's working for the Horde, perhaps there's no affiliation with the princesses either. Not that they would accept I mean, in a quote-unquote perfect world, if Bright Moon was the perfect society, they probably would, but as we've learned before, it's not a perfect society. And then that feeling that Catra has, right? She left and then she just came back and she's just like, oh, I know it hasn't been that long, but like, maybe we could brainstorm? Oh, it's so sad, bro. Yeah, and then she sees that this is all just an illusion and she comes to realize that she was being used this whole time, and again, right? It's just one betrayal after another. She opens her heart up to someone and they just used her. Fuck, you know? And again. When she sees Adora, like, there's nobody else other than maybe Kyle and Scorpia, but like, that's not gonna give Catra any satisfaction. But like, the next time she sees Adora, like, there's that big chance that she's gonna be like, yeah, fuck you, Adora. I'm so fucking mad right now. I opened my heart again. I thought I was finally getting the affection that you have been getting all this fucking, all throughout the childhood years. But I was just being used this whole time. Fuck you, Adora. If that's a reaction, understandable. And, again, I'm still trying to contemplate how Entrapta would go back to the princesses. I wonder, if ever. Honestly, who knows? Who knows? But, this was a, hopefully not as long of a discussion. But, thank you guys for sticking around. If I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.